Welcome back, guys. I'm Zell, and today we're going to do the disassembly and look at the internal parts on the Buck Marksman before we start doing other things to it. And today, guys, we've got Molly with us. That was the one that got the most votes, so this is Molly Hatchet, our third bird. And she's going to be hanging out over here to the side and making sure we don't do anything silly. Anyhow, so to disassemble a Buck Marksman, we're going to need a T6, a couple of T10s, and we would normally use a 1/16 Allen wrench, but and guys, excuse my voice, I have been sick for the past several days, but I really need to get this video done, so please bear with me. I got this one from Jerry Mellons on Instagram, and he had stripped the Allen keyholes here on the screws out, and he done a very good thing. He run them through with probably a Dremel and set them up to use a flathead, so that's what we're going to have to use to get the lock bar off. So first, we need to get the pocket clip off, and it's T6 bolts. I'm going to set these aside in my little parts organizer. And the parts organizer is nothing special. It's just one of those little, kind of like a tackle box from Home Depot. We're going to set that aside. And next we're going to need to pull the lock bar off. And like I said, we're going to use a flat screwdriver instead of the standard 1/16 Allen wrench. But that is not a problem. I called up Buck and they sent me all the necessary screws. So whenever we put this thing back together, we'll have all the right stuff. Alright, so we got those two screws out. We're going to go ahead and throw them in there just in case we need them. And set the lock bar aside over here by Molly. Now, at this point, this blade swings free, so you need to be aware of that. Put some tape around the knife if you feel it necessary. We will, just to show that we're being safe. That way our blade can't move around on us. And then from here, we use T6s to pull these out on both sides of the knife. And then we'll let this fall out. Then we need two T10s to get our pivot screw because we have a T10 on both sides. And from here we need to untape this thing. And lift that out. Lift our bearing out, put it in our parts tray. Lift our blade out. Set it aside. We do need to get this little bushing out of here. This is, by the way, the right way to do these little races. But that little race is somewhere between 3 and 4 times as thick as what the races are in the Mantra and some of the CRKT knives that have cage bearings. And it's a nice hardened steel bearing, as you can see, still nice and flat after all the use that Jerry and I both put on this thing. If Spyderco and CRKT would step up to something like this, there would be much fewer problems. Anyhow, got that out of there. Be sure and grab your stop pin. I'm going to get that and of course that stop pin is in there really good. We'll see if we can lightly get a hold of that. Yeah, there we go. Going to come out really easy. Do not nab that thing real tight with a pair of pliers. You'll end up with some nasty knurling on there, and we don't want that. Anyhow, stop pin off to the side. And then this side I want to kind of take a look at. This is the mechanism inside your Buck Marksman that makes everything work. You have a set screw here and this piece here. Tighten that set screw up, it allows this to move back. Loosen it up, it allows this to move forward, allowing for the change in your back strap whenever your back strap is laying up here on this. So that's what's happening inside the knife whenever you make those adjustments that we talked about a few days ago. So anyhow, we need to pull all of this out because I don't think we're going to be messing with these pieces. We'll put those away. These 2 pins, pull those out. We'll put those away. Go ahead and pull our pivot screw out and our little bearing. And pull out that little bearing race. And there we go. Our buck Marksman is all apart. This is the list of parts we're going to be dealing with whenever we do stuff with this knife. And all I can say is it ought to be fun, guys. We're going to have some fun with this thing and see what we can do with it. And we'll get started on that hopefully next week. But for this week, I just wanted to get the knife apart. And I really appreciate you hanging out with me for a few minutes, seeing what's inside the Buck Marksman. It's kind of a neat knife. It's got some different parts than what we're used to seeing. And I really appreciate Buck going to G&G Hawk and talking to them about creating a very unique knife that works really, really well. I just wish Buck's QA and QC could make this thing all that it should be. They cut the parts really well. Every one of them I've seen has lined up well, centered pretty darn good, but they just can't seem to get them adjusted and set up right coming out of the factory. And I really wish that Buck would get on that and get that quality control at the end of the line up to snuff. Anyhow, I'm rambling here. You guys have a wonderful day. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and follow along as we play with this Buck Marksman. And you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.